Hey, fellow babies. Thank you for joining us on Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. I hope you're watching as a Patreon patron. Thank you if you are. And I hope you've also linked your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. Thank you if you did. And I hope you also are following me on Twitter at Michael Pachter. From YouTube, from Ketan Sani, while the world may be rife with negativity right now, can you single out some positive takeaways from the coronavirus pandemic for the gaming industry? Love from India. Thank you, Ketan, and love from Long Beach. Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, it's really hard for people, I think, to be indoors all the time. I think it's really hard, especially for people who lost family members or friends. So that's really negative. I think the shutdown and the fear of being exposed has destroyed some industries, primarily consumer facing. So retail, travel are just dead, and people have lost, their livelihoods, and it's going to be hard to recover from that. I mean, if there's a silver lining, I think it's that businesses are discovering that they just don't have to have all their people in the same room every day. I had an exchange with a game developer, mostly because I was just checking in. How you doing? Big studio, you've heard of them. I don't want to embarrass them. But he said, everything's great, family's great. He goes, but the big eye opener for him was that work from home is a huge success. And that, they have 100% of their people staying away from the office, and that their productivity hasn't suffered, that people are getting their work done. They are comfortable working from home. And he said he started to ask people if they want to do it when we don't have to anymore. And he said he got about a 90% reply rate that people said they like to at least work from home part-time. So the positive, which, again, I'm trying to spin this positive. I mean, it's sad that we have nothing better to do, but you're able to be productive 2 hours a day more. I mean, the average commute in the US, 25.4 minutes. And obviously, if you live in a high traffic place, it's more like an hour each way. But not just commute time. I mean, you're not spending time on grooming. Look at me, haven't had a haircut in 2 months. Didn't shave today. And, when you do groom, you're not like really worrying about smelling good or putting on really nice clothes or whether your tie is tied properly. So, we're picking up, I'd say, 2 hours a day. And that 2 hours a day permits us to have quality time doing whatever's important to us, which is primarily entertaining ourselves. Not having to commute, not having to go out to eat, more family dinners. I think that's positive. I mean, a lot of people want to kill themselves after being home with their wives and children for 2 months in a row, but I like seeing my kids every day. And, my kids are both away to college. They're now doing college online, and they're in the next room. That's awesome. So, as bad as it is that people are dying, and that's bad, and as really tragic as it is that there are going to be a lot of people that are unemployed and are going to be financially strained, I think for those of us fortunate enough to have our families with us and get to keep them safe and healthy, this has been really positive. I think you asked about the games industry, and that developer I talked to said that this is something he would never have considered but for being forced into work from home. And he said, when we open back up, he goes, we're going to very likely have a lot less space, rented. And we're going to give all of our people the option to work from home as many days a week as they want, including all of them. And he said, the only thing they're really struggling with right now is they want to keep the camaraderie together. So they're probably going to have monthly mandatory meetings. And he said, we're really seriously thinking of like midday, noon. So nobody has traffic coming in or going home. Noon to 2, bring in a big meal and have everybody just and say hi to everybody, which is really smart. So, the upside for that company is that his employees are picking up a couple hours a day. and he is in a high traffic area, and they're going to spend more time with their families. And to be honest with you, I've worked from home for 5 years. My wife and I have a better relationship because she can interrupt me during the day and ask me to help her with something, and I do, as opposed to her stressing out about a light bulb not being changed or whatever she can't do herself, killing a spider. That's our biggest thing. So yeah, I think this is really good. And I will say, I think there's some solidarity in all this. I mean, there are crazy people out there who think this is a hoax, and they're carrying guns and complaining to their governors about not opening the economy.
You're trying to get the people to train them, so when the cameras, the 5G comes out, what? They're gonna scan everybody. We got to get scanned. We got to get temperatured.
But the fact is that, fully 80% of people on the planet know this is necessary to save lives. And I like that, even though it's got a harsh impact on our livelihoods, it's more important to most of us that our fellow, citizens live than it is that we make an extra buck. So obviously, if you're owner of a business that's shut down, that's bad for you and your family, and I think it's tragic. But for the greater good, I'm not willing to trade in grandma for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. I think it's okay if the market goes down and grandma lives, because we're going to beat this disease. And when we do, grandmas are nice to have around. So I think there's plenty of positives, but for the gaming industry, I think just the discovery that games can be made remotely and that it works. And that means that it's going to be easier to hire people if they can live anywhere. Thank you for joining us on Pachter Factor today. If you're a SIFTD Patreon patron, thank you. If you are a Twitch Prime member, because you linked your Amazon Prime account, thank you. If you're following me on Twitter at Michael Pachter, thank you. See you tomorrow.